Today, the CitySpeak event organized by the Fringe Club and Design in Hong Kong is about the Central Market, not the Central Oasis. It's about the Central Market. We have a number of speakers here today. I will introduce briefly the representatives of the architects because we have to figure out who's going to speak first. And that's Tony Young of ADAS, Vincent of AGC Design, Berry Hill Architecture, and Stefan Krumek. Do you mind pulling a number? So you can now you know the sequence of the presentation. So you have to. Who's first? Stefan is first. Okay, good. Just a very brief presentation by me, if I can figure out how to do this. It's very interesting, actually. The discussion about Central Market these last few days has gone full circle because now everybody says, "Why don't we get rid of that ugly building?" So, which is an interesting one. But fortunately, there are enough people among us who don't think so. But if you think so, feel free to say that during our Q&A later on today. Of course, these are some pictures of what the building currently looks like on the inside. I'll just give that to you so you have a sense. Vito Bertin, who will be speaking today as well, is associate professor of the School of Architecture, retired associate professor there of the Chinese University, and he will probably deal much more with the issue of the building and the property and so on, and ask for the building to speak. And these are some of the details that can be found inside, hidden from most of you, because most of you will not have seen this. So the question really, I think, as we look at the design, is really about some choices there. Do we conserve the building, or do we make very bold interventions? And if we do a bold intervention, do we lose its identity, or should we just demolish it and turn it into a park? So I think those are the questions we all should ask ourselves. As a building itself, I believe that it's a very interesting building, defined very much by its stark character and its strong linear expressions. Now we're going to make it a very modern building. We have some reference for that, or we're going to mess it up. Facelift, that's not going to really work very well. Or are we going to be, can we make changes, but we really maintain identity? You can show a bat in many different ways, and you still recognize the bat. Or are we going to intervene, rip the walls out, drill big holes in it? Or are we going to do something just working with the existing structure and do interesting things inside? So there are many different ways of approaching it, and I think the architects today are basically ranging in their presentations or their design ideas really from minimalist intervention to quite a bold intervention. So it's, I think, a good one to get our head around. Where do we want to go? The other question is, of course, what do we want to do inside? The architects are interesting. That is working with the building and the hardware and the structure, but the actual question is also going to be, so what's going to be in the inside? It's going to be very noisy, vibrant, busy. It's going to be very hubby, or it's going to be we're going to meditate and sit inside, or maybe have both. But the uses, are going to be partly defined by the architect, but they're going to be very much defined by management. So, what should it feel like? We'd like to hear from you today. What do you like the building to be and the space to feel like? The four schemes, four progressive intervention, 4 degrees of intervention, very different approaches. I think the Berry Powers architecture firm very much green health and healing and butterflies and an oval atrium. The ADAS talks about the gateway, single atrium, and Vincent on behalf of AGDC will talk about his urban floating, his UFO, his swimming pool floating on top of the building. And with the single atrium, of course, TFP talks about inspired by heritage and making small changes. And they have partly open air and partly big atrium inside. So they're very different, and I'll leave it with you where you like to go. One point that we like to make is these two massive footbridges, one in between the building and the bank, Hang Seng Bank. They really overshadow the building entrance. If we're going to do the building, why don't we rip some of these footbridges out? Maybe we can get rid of one of them at least, and open up the view of the front of that building so we can enjoy that building a bit better, more to its old shape. So that's one suggestion from us designing Hong Kong, at least something to think about that's kind of outside where the architects have gone. So we like to put it up. And the question that we have put up to again Michael Mayo on the radio earlier this week as well: how are you going to manage the central market? We're going to manage it like the Food and Hygiene Department manages the markets in Hong Kong. Are we going to manage it like the Link REIT manages their markets in the housing estates? Are we going to manage it like a shopping mall? I mean, what model? Are we going to manage it like Sogo, where you have one department store that has many little different guys operating in it, different brands operating in it? I mean, we need a management style, we need an attitude. Are we going to manage it like the Western market? Not everybody agrees that that's a good idea. But the Euro area's experience is basically the Western market currently. They don't have the experience or the management or the power or the capabilities, the expertise built up, not within their own organization, but also not within Hong Kong, to take this forward as a boroughs market or the markets in San Francisco or the markets in New York. I mean, do we have the kind of attitude? Do we have market managers in Hong Kong who can give a property like that and they know how to do the right thing, not charge exorbitant rents? Then how do you make your decision about who's going to operate? If it doesn't go by the highest rent, then who's allowed to have a store? So that kind of decisions, I think, today, when we work with the architects, it's not going to be really coming out because we're looking more at the forms and the shape. But really, when we look at the future, that's going to be the main challenge. Whatever building we take,